Right, so today we have Paul Lancaster, founder of Platform and UK Startup Week. I've been really looking forward to this interview because obviously I've followed you from way back quite a while with the UK Startup and your Platform events look fantastic. So thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me onto the show. I'm excited to talk about it.
It's so obviously, like I say, I've been aware of you quite a while. I mean, your UK startup. When did you start that? It's quite a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'll go back a step. So for over 25 years, I've worked in lots of different roles where I've worked for local enterprise agencies, youth enterprise schemes, worked for corporates like Sage and British Airways, worked for the government, lots of not-for-profit social enterprises, had my own business as well. But they've all been roles that are focused on helping people start and grow businesses. So I've had jobs where I've been paid to help people like give advice and signposting and matchmaking, and then I finally started my own business in 2016 to do all this independently. And so I started off just continuing what I've been doing before, like a bit of consultancy, a bit of signposting, matchmaking, leveraging my network that I built up. But then I did the first Startup Week Festival in 2017. So the first one, I had just over 600 people came to that. So a 5-day multi-venue citywide event in Newcastle. So it was Newcastle Startup Week.
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm biased, but it was amazing, right? But basically bringing all the best help and advice in one place to try and inspire and educate people how to start and grow a business. And then did that again the second year, again, just over 600 people. And then the third one had just over 800 people. And that was in 2019. So 20, yeah.
I remember looking at it. I mean, it looked fantastic. It was unfortunately I wasn't able to get there, but looking from it and following it, I was like, wow, that really does look like you see multi-day, different speakers across. It looked great.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I mean, it was an awesome event, but like what I found was when I was in those roles where I was paid to give help and advice, so where the best help and advice is because it's your job to know. And I was going to all the events and I was reading all the books and I was watching the videos and stuff, but I wasn't the intended recipient of that, if you know what I mean. Yes, I could pass on that information, but I just thought people still don't know where to go for basic advice, how to start a business. People definitely were struggling, didn't know how to raise investment or where to go for funding or anything like that. People didn't know how to do accounts or like just everyday stuff that when you're in business you just have to know. And struggling with marketing and sales and business development. So I thought, yeah, let's just try and bring it all together in one place so people can learn in 5 days, while it would probably take them 5 months or even 5 years to learn. Just put it all together. And yeah, it worked. I had people from not just Newcastle. It was a northeast event, but I had people coming from Scotland, Northwest, Midlands, London. I had people from Europe, US, all over traveling to this event, but all about very much celebrating the Northeast as a great place to start and grow a business.
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. So I did the last one in 2019. I had Stephen Bartlett speaking at that as a keynote speaker before he was mega famous, so I got him at the right time. I'd been following him and I'd been talking to him for a while before that, and I could see he was going to be he already was well known in certain circles, but yeah. I didn't know he would go on to be as famous as he is now. And I probably wouldn't get him now, but I got him at the right time, and he was fantastic, and he did say it was one of the best events he'd ever been at and spoken at. So that was good validation and kudos to have him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then the lockdown happened, and I couldn't. I was gearing up to do another big event in 2020, and then lockdown happened, so obviously couldn't do that. Moved it online and did a couple of online events for a few hundred people each, which was still good. All online 5-day events, and then then I started doing a bit of coaching, one-to-one coaching and mentoring off the back of it. And and then I actually went back into employment for a couple of years,
Right.
which was not something I wanted to do, but it was more of a necessity. So we can probably talk a bit about that, how to sort of suck it up, I suppose, and just think like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I need to take the pressure off and get a bit of stability and a bit more money coming in, and park what I was doing for a while. And I moved into tech recruitment. I got offered a job working in technology recruitment for 2 years, and then I left that dead on 2 years in December to go back to doing what I was doing before. So, that's why I started doing the monthly platform events in January. Do them now in Newcastle and Sunderland, and I'm gearing up to do another big startup week festival in Sunderland next June.
Oh, great. It's you mentioning that, I think it's really quite key. Going back into employment a bit, because people see what see what you do, and see the success in the scale of the startup weeks, and they see people, and often people from the outside looking in will just see this and think, oh yeah, everything's fine, everything's smelling roses, sort of thing. And entrepreneurs and people doing things, it's not a straight line. It's not a straight, the graph doesn't just go like that. There's bits where you've got to roll with, COVID coming along for something where you've got, loads of people in one place, and COVID didn't exactly go together, did they? And so there's sometimes you're dealt hands, you've got to roll with it and adapt and then come back again.
Yeah, no, that was, well, obviously a lot of people were affected. A lot of people, business went under completely, and they've had to change their lives as a result. But yeah, totally unforeseen. Couldn't plan for that. But I just thought, okay, I didn't go looking for a job, but like it came at the right time, because the other thing again, which you might or might not know, which we'll talk about, I went through a divorce as well at the same time, so it
Right.
compounded all right. So basically, at the beginning of 2020, just before COVID, separated from my ex-wife, and so basically, I needed that stability where your business is struggling, you can't do what you're doing, your marriage is breaking down. You're just like, okay,
You've got to look
I
after
need to,
yourself. You've got to take that time, and that's. I did a short talk about sort of something called progressive overload, where you have stress load, then recovery to adapt, and then go again. And sometimes you've got to hit that point and realize that the loadings, you need to get that recovery point, and
yeah,
it's like, how do you get that? And sometimes that
exactly.
point, and obviously that's a hell of a lot to have on your plate, and giving yourself that space is a good strategic move, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's a lot in there where you're like, identity as well. You're like, well, this is who I am. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I do these events. I've got this great network, and people are loving what I'm doing. But yet, and I'm a father, and I'm a husband, and all that sort of stuff. And like everything that you are, you're still the same person. But then, just having to think, okay, I'm going to go in a different direction, and it's the right thing for me, and it's the right thing for the kids, and it's the right thing for everyone to do this other thing. And I did learn a lot, and it was exactly what I needed. I missed being part of a team. Actually, I did really enjoy being part of a successful company with a great team that I could learn from, and it was something new, and it was exciting, and it was good money, and it gave me the stability I needed, and I already had a really good network, and I was well known in certain circles, but it widened my network even further. And I wasn't just working with startups and early stage businesses, but I was known as kind of like Mr. Startup guy in the Northeast. But I was working with scaling businesses as well. But when I went into recruitment, it was all scaling businesses. It was high growth, people that were struggling to find the staff they needed to cope with the growth that they needed. So that did just open up my network to a whole load of other people that just gave me a more rounded network, I suppose, and and gave me a bit more of
commercial
focus, which is good.
Yeah, so that sort of like added that extra string to your bow that was already quite a significant bow. So it's to allow you, and so I think that's where the platform integrates both, not just startup. It integrates it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, so as well as the startup week, so like each day has a different theme, and there is a scale up element to that. So it's like Monday is Inspiration Day, like that's the main event that everyone goes to, and it's the big event where like I say 800 people came to that on in the last one. Next year in June, I'm limited by venue size, but the venue I'm using has 550 people capacity. So that there'll be 550 people there on day one. But then days 2 to 5, day one's celebrating the success stories, past, present, future, keynote speakers, panel discussions, just geeing everyone up, get people excited about starting and growing businesses, and everyone at any level can benefit from that. Everybody needs a bit of inspiration and motivation, and so yeah, you get pre-start all the way to corporates and everything in between. We'll be there on that day. But then day 2 is like getting started. That's it. Okay, you're being inspired. You've got an idea. Now what? How do you bring that to life? What's your practical first steps to bringing a new business to life or a new product or service? So slightly different audience there. That does tend to be people in a job or very early stage businesses that will go to that. Day 3 is the funding and finance day. So that's crossover day where people are looking for grants, loans, crowdfunding, angel investment, venture capital, how to do your accounting better. Everyone at all level will go to that. And then day 4 is your growing and scaling day. So that is more existing businesses with ambition to grow through better sales, marketing, business development, mindset, leadership, building a team, partnerships, networking. That's that day. And then the final day, Friday, is keep going or pivot, and that tends to be a bit of a wrap up day where we celebrate what we've done over the week, what's happened, and also like, okay, what's working, what's not working. Are you measuring it properly? How do you do more of it? Do you less of it? Do you pivot in a different direction? Resilience and mindset, that's a key thing on that day as well. And I have had a lot of people talking about how they've gone through that. Some of them been through a burnout. Some people have like struggled with mental health, and talk about how they've come through that, or the business has failed and they've gone in a different direction. So
well, that was what I was just going to touch on, when obviously the challenges that you had, with your divorce and the business with post COVID. That's obviously you've shown a lot of resilience and in sort of saying, right, you've got yourself back on track, and then you're going again. So what was there anything particularly you did to work on that resilience and get you through that period to get on to the next step? What was the story in that and the transition to get going again?
Yeah, I mean, I love learning. I'm always reading, and I'm always like, you never stop learning. And I was already into like personal development and as well as business development and marketing and stuff like that. Read loads of books, but before that, like I think the end of the previous year, 2019, I'd at one of the events, I was running monthly events as well called Founders Friday, which were like a mini version of platform.
Right.
And there's a lady who was coming along to those events who was like told me about Stoicism, which you probably know all about Stoicism, or a lot of people. And I didn't know anything about it, but I'm really into history. And then I'm into philosophy. And when she was telling me about Stoicism, I was like, that sounds amazing. I think I'm a Stoic, like, but without knowing it. But once she was explaining how it had benefited her, and I started reading into it, I was like, right, I want to know a bit more about that. And so I did. I got into Stoicism. There's a what's it? There's a really good book. It's called How to Think Like a Roman Emperor.
Right.
And it's about Marcus Aurelius, who if I remember rightly, I might be wrong here. I think he was Hadrian, like Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
I think he was his father. I can't remember if he was. I think it was his father. Anyway, I can't remember. He's either father or son. I can't remember. Anyway, Hadrian was he wasn't a nice guy. Everyone hated Hadrian, but everyone loved Marcus Aurelius. But he had amazing philosophy teachers, and he was like a philosopher emperor. And you probably know this already, like I say, but I just loved the way it was all about, okay, bad things will happen, people will say and do things will happen that are out of your control, but the one thing that you can control is how you respond to those things. If at all, you are ultimately in control of whether you react and how you react to those things. And I love that. And I think I listened to an audiobook of that, and I enjoyed it because it was part history book, part memoir about Marcus Aurelius. And then I got into things like the Daily Stoic and various other things. But that definitely helped. That was a starting point. Just okay, I can learn a lot from this. In all this chaos going around, how to just stay focused and become that kind of like, I don't know, inner citadel to talk about, like where you can cope with that. But then I also did a bit of coaching. So I received a bit of coaching from a couple of people, which really helped. And it was a process, like just sort of building myself back up and reminding myself who I am. And spend a lot of time reflecting and talking to good people about, okay, what is it? What are my values? What like motivates and inspires me? And just getting to know myself again as a individual, not as a father and not as a husband and not as a business owner and all that sort of stuff. And realizing I really like myself. I think I'm good. I'm good with who I am, but I can always be better. So through that sort of thing, and then just staying busy. And my kids, awesome. Like from the very beginning, even though I moved out the family home, my kids stayed with me every weekend. So during the week, I had time on my own, and I could focus on work, or I could reading and philosophizing and listening to music and just enjoying a bit of time to myself. Almost like not solitary confinement, but it kind of was like monastic type thing. but then the kids, amazing. Like just kids, fantastic, and they kept me focused on being a good dad. And just like I say, just got busy and then built myself back up and got my confidence going. And and actually, even though I'm separated and divorced, I'm really good friends with my ex-wife. We've managed to keep the focus on the kids, make sure that they're good, and we've maintained a good relationship. And I'm really proud of how we've done that.
That's I mean, congratulations on that. Well done, that, because it's it's a big challenge going, like you say, having your identity and then that identity sort of changing dramatically, and to sort of like get it back again and build back up again that's resilience, that's strength, and it takes a lot of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've gone through it, you understand. So and I think personally, you see people where they'll sort of say, I've never had issues, I've never had a failed business, or I've never had this problem, and there's a lot of wisdom comes through going through difficulties. And when you've been through difficulties, you've got a much broader, more rounded, clear vision of what you have to go through and what life is, rather than and just general wisdom that you've gained through going through that. And so that's an amazing achievement to have when you've got challenges and you get back up. Was it Lombardi said it's not about how hard you get hit or how many times you get hit, it's about how many times you get back up. And it's true.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's obviously not nice, and it's never nice when a long relationship ends. And and we tried, and it just didn't. We just got to a point where it was best thing to split up, and it has worked out well. But yeah, I round about the time just before we split up, I got asked to give a talk at an event, and it was. I was thinking about this the other day, and it popped me slides because it was an International Men's Day event, right? Because they have International Women's Day events, and they did an International Men's Day, and me and another guy, we got asked to speak, and we wanted to talk about, yes, you see all the like headlines, you see all the positives, but actually I wanted to tell people about what was going on underneath that and how it wasn't all plain sail and stuff like that. But one of my slides, I remember I put a picture up of Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, where he's comes back, he's a bit messed up, he's scarred, he's like wearing black, he's a bit darker, but he's more powerful, and he's a proper badass. And I was just like, I'm like Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. So, yeah, I wish I was a Jedi, but yeah, I feel like I needed to go through that just to become just stronger and more powerful, and just a better human and a better man.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a great analogy really to put against it. There's a lot of Star Wars fans be resonating with that one. Superb. And so you sort of getting yourself sort of back on track and ready to go with that. What's the journey been like from that point on?
Yeah, so let's say so. Well, okay, let's go back. So I did have to make that decision, right? Okay, I'm not going to be doing events or pushing my business. I'm going to take the foot off the pedal. So I didn't shut the business down, but I just I'd already built up a lot of assets, like YouTube channel, Facebook page, website, lots of social media accounts, and there was a lot there, mailing lists. And I was still keeping it going, I was still updating it and running these online events and I did do quite a lot of video interviews as well and podcasts, and so still had lots of really good resources and assets. But once I took this job, it was just I couldn't do it all. I just thought, right, I need to focus. I'm gonna stop doing that, thinking I'll stop it for maybe 6 months, see how long see what I feel, or maybe a year at the most. But I did that recruitment role for 2 years, so pretty much did nothing with my business for 2 years, but still had built up a good network and still had a good reputation with the people I was working with, and it was known for what I'd done before. But I had to carve out a new reputation as a recruiter, which I don't know if you've ever worked with recruiters or many recruiters before, but they're not very well liked. So that was actually a challenge for me, because one of the reasons they offered me the job was because they were like, you're really well connected, like people know you, people want to work with you, like your knowledge is really valuable to us. And it did definitely benefit them because clients were more willing to work with us because they knew about me from before. And candidates as well were a bit more willing to talk to me than other recruiters. But having gone from what I was doing before, where I never had a problem getting a meeting or a call, or I had, if anything, I had too many people coming to me wanting to talk to me, to then people's walls are up. They're like, oh, you're a recruiter. Even though I like you, Paul, you're a recruiter. I don't want to have a meeting. I don't want to have a call because you're going to try and sell recruitment, and I'm not.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was interesting. So again, that's another challenge where I remember going somewhere and hadn't seen someone in a while, and this is when the world opened up again, and went to an event, and I was like, oh, how's it going? What have you been up? And he goes, avoiding people like you. And he goes, no, actually, you're good. I like you a lot, but other recruiters, I just can't stand them. So it's like, oh, right, okay. So then you have to remind them that you're still the same person, and remind yourself you're still the same person. And I used to say to my colleagues, we're not recruitment consultants, we're growth consultants, because we weren't just talking about recruitment, we were advising them on how to grow and advising them on the market, and it was a bit more consultancy, not just recruitment. And that's what I like doing. So so anyway, I blathered on a bit there. So did that for a while. classic, bit of a cliche, I did get into another relationship, and which was amazing, but also a real roller coaster. And I went from one extreme to another, and that just, yeah, that was just didn't work out. And eventually, so I was in that relationship for 2.5 years. So
Right.
I went from the chaos of a COVID and a business struggling and my separation, divorce, to go into another relationship, which was great for a year, and then it was not great for after that. So, but having the recruitment and the job helped
Give
because
that level of stability alongside it.
yeah, because I had something really solid that I could focus on, and then eventually got out of that, and then I'm in another relationship now, which is amazing. Like, just cannot. Yeah, I'm so happy in
Great.
this. Yeah. So anyway, I've been on a bit
Good.
of a journey, and amazing, fantastic relationship. Very happy. She's got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids. They get on great. Very, very happy together, and I'm loving doing my own thing again. So yeah, I'm back. I'm back where I want to be, and
Brilliant.
life is
That's
good.
and that's what's great. That's a demonstration of that. Like I said, and you see a lot of images of it. That the line of an entrepreneur isn't like that nice and straight, is it? It's all over the place, and a lot of people might look in and think, well, Paul Lancaster, he's got this, it's absolutely, just going to be nice and smooth and straight on the upward trajectory as to, all the people, all the connections, and it's valuable for people to see that it's not a straight line, and
No.
everyone, we all go through various challenges at different times,
Mhm.
and it's about being resilient and keeping going, taking those small steps, taking maybe sideward steps, and able to then keep going forward.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people who are in solid, steady jobs, career trajectory that, that things are going well, and then all of a sudden something will come out of the blue, and it could be they get made redundant, or they get ill, or sadly someone dies, or a relationship ends, and they struggle because things are going well, and they're not prepared for it. So yeah, entrepreneurship, self-employment, you are it's very unpredictable. That's the nature of it, especially when you're starting something new, and you have to get comfortable with that. And I am comfortable with that, and I back myself, and I know that I can cope with that uncertainty. And other people might think, bloody hell, what I couldn't do that, or that's difficult. But I've just having been through what I've been through, I don't think there's anything I couldn't cope with. To be fair, no. So touch wood,
Brilliant.
touch wood, touch wood. So.
Brilliant. And are you? I'd been speaking to John. He says he had a really good story about, was it lemon curd or something like that? Is there something
Ah,
there, or are you not, or is that one for a later
yeah,
date?
no. Well, we might as well talk about it. So, yeah, so basically, when I moved out, when I was separated, I moved out of the family home, right? Which that was hard. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done, having to tell the kids that I was moving out and why we were splitting up, and you know, that was quite shocking for them. But anyway, moved out and moved into a flat in Newcastle city centre, which I loved. Actually, I did love having my own place, and the kids loved being there as well. Um, but when I first moved in, my parents were really good. They helped me move some stuff in, and I had some friends who helped as well. But obviously, you're moving in. You're like, okay, I'm literally starting again from scratch. It's like I didn't have much food in the flat. Um, but my mate gave me, in amongst all the stuff he gave, was a loaf of bread and a jar of lemon curd, right? And I, I can't remember the last time I'd eaten lemon curd, but I was just like, I was so hungry on the first night there, and I had nothing else to eat but a bit of bread and lemon curd. But I didn't have any cutlery. I don't even think I had any plates, right? But I just remember like scooping this lemon curd out with my fingers and spreading it on the loaf of bread. And do you know what? It was one of the nicest things I'd eaten. But tasted lush, but it was. I think I just thought that's friendship. That's me mates, like looking out, helping. Okay,
Yeah.
start again. Not great situation to be in, but actually, what I have got in this moment, this lemon curd is amazing. It looks amazing. It's bright yellow. Yeah, maybe I just saw a bit of symbolism there. The bright, positive, bright yellow, delicious
Yeah.
taste, and that's all. I didn't need anything else at that moment. I just needed some lemon curd and a slice of bread.
And it's that thing of friends. It's it is that where sort of like it is this year we've come together through like it's friendship and connection, and we're very much about connection with people, and that comes from what we've got together and how we support one another, and
Yeah,
it's definitely life in what all the various things that you do in life. If you've got those connections and friendships around you to help you sort of get through all the various challenges, don't they?
yeah, and that support can come from anywhere as well. Like you can have really close friends who support you. You can have like loose connections who can help you out in unexpected ways. But yeah, I think I've definitely benefited from having a good network. Uh, I've helped a lot of people over the years, and I've not wanted anything in return or expected anything in return. I do genuinely like helping people if I can, or if I've got an opportunity to do something for someone, why would I not do that? But yeah, sometimes you're the one that needs the help and support, and I think being open to that as well, and yeah, admitting that you need a bit of help is a good thing, and a lot of people struggle with that. I would say, not just men, but particularly men
Yeah,
do
yeah.
do struggle to admit that they're finding things difficult, and maybe it's the ego or the pride getting in the way. But yeah, sometimes you just have to let it come and just like be open to that.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. That's it. You've been very sort of like very, very sort of like open with your journey, and there will be a lot of people listening to this that's going to help. And a lot of, well, you're seeing that connection and support, and that is what you've done. And you look at what you do as your career, where you're helping businesses, whether it be in startup scale up, it's all about helping and supporting people.
Yeah.
And so, and yeah,
Well,
um,
thank you. Well, even the recruitment, that like that's the way I reframed it. It was like I'm connecting people. That's what I'm doing. I'm helping good people find good businesses, good opportunities, and vice versa. And that's what I love doing. I love through my events as well. I love creating literal platforms and opportunities for people to come together who probably wouldn't normally come together, but they can still inspire each other, learn from each other, and form new connections and collaborations that can benefit them. And I get a lot of feelings of fulfillment and enjoyment from that, seeing that happen.
and that's such a it's often those intangibles of that fulfillment, what you get other than the paycheck or the money coming in, it's that, what do you get out of what you do? And that's, for us, that's that working with people and helping people develop, and seeing them progress, and seeing that gives you so much. It's so much more than just getting the money in from this job. It's,
Yeah.
you get that feeling that you get from it is, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, exactly. It's not everyone can do it. Not everyone, and it's not always important to people. But like a lot of people don't really enjoy their work or their job, but they get the fulfillment outside of work, and that's fine. Sometimes it's just the way it is. But for years I've tried to move into roles where I've been able to get that fulfillment and be rewarded for it. And you know, I'm not mega rich. I don't have loads of money, but like I do all right. I'm in a good position, and I get a lot of. I'm rewarded at the level that is appropriate for me for what I do. Always looking to grow my business, but make a big impact at the same time. And I do feel very fortunate to be able to make a living doing what I do and feel really good about what I do.
It's a great place to have both, isn't it? It really is. There's It's one thing being in a job that maybe is giving you the financial rewards, but you don't get the other, and it's it's not a great place to be. So if you can get both at a nice balance, it's a really, really, it's a great thing to achieve.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, good. I'm in a good space. I'm in a good place. So yeah.
Brilliant. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that coming on here? You sort of thought it'd be nice to get this to chat about this or get this out. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
I mean, well, obviously, well, we've had a conversation, me, you, and John, and I know what well, I've read about, and I know what you're trying to do with this. But like,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think I could do more of, or what do you think do what I'm doing, or what do you think's needed in the northeast or in Newcastle, or is that too big a question? Like, I don't know.
After what's needed in Newcastle is
Or the northeast, or well, yeah, just like just tell me. I know you have told
what
me. Tell me, like,
one
what are you hoping to get out of these videos? Off the like,
so
it's
what we're trying to do with out of the videos is our question, which is our company name of Is This You, is very much around taking off the mask.
Mhm.
And that's what you've when I was saying thanks for sharing the depth that you have, it's because you have obviously clearly taken off the mask.
Yeah.
And what what we find or feel is that a lot of people, you ask them how it's going, and it's going great, it's going brilliant, and you look
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, and I'm smashing it at this, that, and t'other, and a lot of people, maybe the anxiety that probably people have going on LinkedIn
Mhm.
because they're not doing what all these other people are doing, and it's sort of effectively, it's like what the kids have got on various social media platforms when they're seeing people in wondering, like in Lamborghinis and in Dubai, and thinking that's just what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in business, and this isn't just the Northeast, this is everywhere, what we're trying to do is take the mask off
Mhm.
and saying, everyone, let's stop saying everything's unbelievable, because I think if we grabbed anybody and they said they didn't have a challenge or an issue somewhere,
Mhm.
then they're not telling the truth, because everyone's got them.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is say we've got the two parts of Is This You. Is this you, which is the take the mask off and let's see you, and then is this you? Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of the very fact that they're termed soft skills, and
Mhm.
people see all the soft skills, and the reality is it's the people,
Yeah.
and it's about, right, you've got to understand people as people. That in most businesses, the most expensive asset and the most valuable asset that the business has is the people. And if that's your most if that's your most valued asset, then just the term soft skills sort of like gets me a little bit like, really.
Yeah.
It's what it is here is it's quite a difficult thing that you've got to deal with,
Yeah.
and not one's the same.
Yeah. There's definitely some industries or professions, or even it's like it is an old school mindset that you've got to be like the tough, like
Mhm.
win at all costs. Okay, someone like Donald Trump, right? I mean, he's like the epitome, isn't he? Where he's like he's always got to be winning. He's always got to be beating the opposition. Like whenever he does a deal, he's always got to get one up on someone. It's like he's
Yeah,
so yeah. That's like I know a lot of people like him, but like that's that's that turns a lot of people off. Like people don't like you don't want to. No one really wants to be a friend with Donald Trump, or do business with Donald Trump. They
yeah,
might
yeah.
they might want to use him or benefit from the money he's got and the influence he's got, but I bet he hasn't got any proper friends, and like I bet none of the people who were with him actually like him. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, soft skill. Yeah, I think it's more like human skills, isn't it? Like
Exactly.
how to be a good human.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's working on those. It's really trying to break down that when you talk about like business coaching or people coaching, then it's that bit of the fact that we are coming at this from, right, how do we look at performance? And the reason that we've all like been at a decent level of sport, and I think that bringing that in as a firmer sort of like, well, you have to perform, you have to be good at this, you have to achieve these various things, and taking that into business is it. I suppose it's trying to break down a little bit of a stigma of just like, oh yes, you're going to come in and you're going to be all nice in it. It's not. We want to try and get people to take off the mask, recognize everyone's got issues, and then like, where do you want to be? Where's the mask that you want to be? Who do you want to be? Who is it you want to be? And what are we going to do to get you there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose when you're saying what do we want to try and get out of it is, or what are we looking for, is people should be trying to be a little bit more open about what they've got going on. But I suppose that's, it's a bit difficult because, again, if you look back historically, everybody's like, everything's got to have a positive slant to it. You've got to see if things are going good, because if you don't do that too much, it starts a negative slide. And so
yeah. No, I love that. I mean, even the speakers that I normally get to speak about platform events or my startup week event, I'm drawn to people who are good humans, and are a bit more humble and are more open and want to help others and give back. They're not just talking about how amazing they are. And that resonates with me, and it resonates with the people that come to my events. Probably over the years, the favorite speakers are the ones who are more vulnerable and open, and that draws people in, and people are like, okay, that is a human, that's someone I can relate to. And the least popular are the ones who have that sort of front, or where everything's amazing and they're smashing it all the time, and it's not. People know that's not the reality. It can't be. You might be going through phases where things are going really well, but you can't be smashing it all day, every day, for the rest of your life. It just doesn't work that way. And even if you are, you're probably upsetting some people around you by doing like that.
True.
So that's and also a key thing for particularly the startup week event, but the platform events as well. I've been to a lot of events over the year where they bring people in from outside the northeast of England who are talking about how amazing they are. And they might be inspiring, they might be motivational, but like, I want my events to be people who are just like you. They're just a little bit further on. So you're like, all right, okay, I know where they grew up. I know where they live. Like, okay, they did this, that they're doing this amazing thing, or they've done that amazing thing, but they were just like me a few years ago, or even just a year ago, and look at what they're doing now. That's a bit more achievable when you're seeing that.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, that's good. That's a really good way of sort of like of looking at it. And obviously, the thing is with AI and everything that AI brings, and where what's going to happen, where's the world going to go there? I think that human connection is even more significant, because that's what can AI not do? Is, well, at the moment,
They can't be a human.
You just can't get that human connection. So that is that bit of like, well, I really feel strongly that that's the area that we really need to focus on and look for opportunities in.
Yeah, because there's AI. I did a little survey the other day when it was sort of asking. It was a product that I use a little bit, and it was like, would you be comfortable? Like, it was like a series of answers to a question, and it was like, do you see AI as a tool that should serve basically the user, or, well, totally, that's how I see it. It's something that should make my life easier, but it's not. I don't want to replace what I do. I just want some tools that are going to make my life more efficient and more productive, so I can focus on the intangible stuff and the more. You right now you couldn't have. Well, you couldn't have an AI person do all the things I do.
Yeah.
Bringing people together, running events, organising events, building rapport, putting emotion into the events, just getting people inspired and excited. You couldn't do that without being a human. But then one of the questions was saying, would you be comfortable if you were, it was actually Slack, right? So Slack, which a lot of people use, they were saying, would you be happy not knowing that it was an AI tool doing the work? If like, would you be happy thinking it was a teammate doing all the work? Like, do you see AI as a colleague and a teammate? I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to. So yeah. Anyway, it's just
Exactly.
if anyone gets asked to do a survey, don't say yes. We're happy for AI to replace us.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for that, Paul. Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
was thinking that I was going to close off by asking about a book recommendation, but you already did that. Sort of like I'm going to have to go and get the play it back, get the name.
No, definitely recommend that. Oh, good. Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many books out there. Trying to think what's a good one. I mean, the thing that really influenced me, there's a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell,
Right.
and it's it's a famous book now. But he writes about there's lots of great ideas in the world, but why do some businesses or some ideas succeed and others fail? And it's quite a simplified argument, but he's basically said through all the research it shows that the ideas that succeed tend to have three types of people involved in them. You have what are known as mavens, people who just love finding out about new things and knowledge and insights, and you have connectors, people who don't just tell one or two people about an idea. If they come across a good idea, they'll go out of the way to think, who do I know that would benefit from knowing about this, and they'll tell them and bring them together. And then you have salespeople or marketing people. You're saying if you have those three people involved in your idea or your business or service, then you're more likely to be successful.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I was like, well, I'm definitely a maven. I love finding out about new things. I've got very diverse, broad interests. Definitely a maven. I'm a good connector. I do go out of my way to tell people about things that I think they would benefit from. And I was doing a lot of marketing. Like that's my background, marketing.
Yeah.
So when I read that, I was like, right, I'm going to set out to be the best possible person that combines all three things. So from that point on, that's what I've been doing, and I came up with a phrase which other people use now, but they're not. I started calling myself a super connector.
Yeah.
And some people are like, what the hell is a super connector? But when they know what I do and they see what I do, it makes sense because I'm connecting people all day, every day, either in person or online or through my events. And I've just set out that's my purpose is doing that. So if anyone's interested in that, they can encourage you to read that book.
Tipping Point. Brilliant.
The Tipping Point. Yeah.
Superb.
All
Thanks
right.
for that, Paul.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Cheers.